very urgent. Your soulmate revealed their decision about you. Their next move will surprise you. My beloved child, something has shifted in a way you were never supposed to see coming this soon. Your soulmate has finally reached a decision about you, but the decision itself is only the beginning. What comes after it is the part that could surprise you most. For a long time, they have been carrying thoughts they could not easily explain. They questioned the connection, questioned the timing, and even questioned why your presence kept returning to their mind when they tried to focus on everything else. But now that uncertainty is changing. A quiet realization has taken its place, and once they accepted it, they could no longer look at you the same way. Don't skip, because there is one detail behind their decision that changes the meaning of everything. They did not arrive here because someone convinced them. They did not arrive here because they were simply feeling emotional for one moment. Something deeper made them recognize what you represent in their life. And now they are thinking about doing something they once believed they would never have the courage to do. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the next revelation explains why their next move may come when you least expect it. Here is where everything becomes even more surprising. Your soulmate's decision is not simply about how they feel, it is about what they are finally willing to do with those feelings. There was a moment when they could have continued remaining quiet. They could have kept everything hidden behind ordinary conversations, distance, hesitation, or silence. But something inside them changed. They began imagining what would happen if they never showed you what you truly meant to them. That thought affected them more deeply than they expected. Suddenly, waiting did not feel comfortable anymore. Suddenly, pretending everything was ordinary became harder. And this is why you need to stay till the end. Their next move appears to be connected to a truth they have been holding back for longer than you realize. They want you to understand that their silence never necessarily meant absence of feeling. In their mind, there were conversations with you that never happened, words they almost said, and moments when they nearly revealed everything before stopping themselves. But now the energy of that hesitation is changing into determination. Don't skip, because the biggest surprise is still ahead. They have started thinking beyond one conversation. They are thinking about what could happen after the truth is finally spoken. And this is the revelation that makes their decision so powerful. Your soulmate may no longer want to leave this connection trapped inside unanswered questions. They have reached a point where clarity matters more than hiding. Their next move could be something simple on the outside, a message, an honest conversation, a warmer approach, or a noticeable change in how they treat you, but behind that move could be a decision that has taken them a very long time to make. They want to discover whether the connection they have been feeling can become something real and meaningful instead of remaining only a possibility in their mind. Something huge is waiting for you, because there is still another layer to this decision. Before they move forward, they have one final inner question to answer, and that question is directly connected to you. Stay till the end of this journey, because what they realize next could completely change how they approach you. The surprising part is not merely that they made a decision. The surprising part is that this decision may finally push them toward the action they kept postponing, and once that action begins, the connection between you may enter a completely different chapter. Something changed inside your soulmate the moment they stopped asking themselves whether they should move toward you, and started asking what might happen if they never did. That single thought turned everything around. They realized that staying silent could eventually mean watching an extraordinary connection remain unfinished, and suddenly the hesitation they had carried for so long began losing its power. Don't skip, because this is where their decision becomes much bigger than you might expect. Your soulmate has been replaying certain moments connected to you, your presence, your energy, the way you made them feel understood without even knowing it. And through all those memories, one truth kept becoming stronger: you are not someone they can simply replace in their thoughts and continue as though nothing happened. Something about you stayed with them. Something about this connection kept pulling their attention back. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The decision they revealed was not simply, "I still care." It went deeper. They decided they no longer want uncertainty to control what happens between you. And that means their next move could arrive very differently from anything you have seen from them before. But there is another detail they have kept hidden, and this is where everything takes an unexpected turn. Your soulmate has already imagined the moment when they finally approach you differently. They have wondered what they would say first, how you might respond, and whether you would immediately recognize that something inside them had changed. They know they cannot control your reaction, and strangely, that realization has made their decision even stronger. They are beginning to understand that genuine feelings cannot remain forever behind perfect timing. Sometimes someone has to take the first step without knowing exactly what comes afterward. Don't skip now, because their next move may not begin with some enormous announcement. It could begin quietly, with more attention, more consistency, a meaningful message, or an attempt to create a conversation that feels different from everything before. But underneath that seemingly simple action is something much bigger: intention. They are no longer thinking only about you. They are thinking about how to become closer to you. And once intention replaces hesitation, everything can start moving much faster than expected. Now comes the part that could completely change how you understand their decision. Your soulmate has realized that approaching you means they may eventually have to reveal the one thing they have struggled hardest to express: just how important this connection became to them while they were trying to understand it. They may have appeared calm. They may have acted as though everything was ordinary. Yet behind that calmness, they were reaching a conclusion that could change their next chapter. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the biggest revelation has not arrived yet. Their decision is leading toward a choice between remaining where everything feels familiar and stepping toward something that could become deeply meaningful. And for the first time, they appear ready to choose movement instead of endless waiting. Their next step may surprise you because it could reveal a version of them you have not seen before, more certain, more open, and far less willing to let an important connection disappear without discovering what it could become. But there is still one final reason behind this sudden change, and when that reason becomes clear, you will understand why their next move may happen sooner than anyone expects. What your soulmate realized next changed the entire direction of their thoughts. They finally understood that the strongest connections are not always the easiest ones to explain, and somehow, whenever they tried to imagine moving forward without ever discovering what could happen between you, something felt unfinished. That realization became impossible to ignore. Don't skip, because this is where their decision begins turning into action. They are no longer simply remembering you, they are mentally preparing themselves for a different kind of interaction with you. They want to stop hiding behind uncertainty and finally understand where this connection could lead. And there is something surprising about the timing. They may have spent a long period convincing themselves to wait for the perfect moment, but now they are realizing that the perfect moment may never announce itself. Sometimes you create that moment by choosing courage over hesitation. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Their next move could seem sudden from your perspective, but inside their heart and mind, it has been developing quietly for much longer than you realize. Then came the realization they were least prepared for. The possibility of losing the opportunity mattered more to them than the possibility of hearing an answer they could not predict. That changed everything. Your soulmate started looking at the situation differently. Instead of asking, "What if this goes differently than I hope?" they began asking, "What if I never find out?" And that second question became far more powerful. Don't skip, because this is the turning point. Their decision about you is becoming less about fantasy and more about clarity. They want to know you more honestly, communicate more openly, and see whether the connection they feel can exist beyond imagination. Something huge is waiting for you because there is another surprising detail. They may already be searching for the right opening. A natural conversation. A small reason to reach out. A moment where they can show more interest without forcing anything. Their next move might not arrive with dramatic words. It may begin quietly, but you could notice immediately that their energy feels different. More focused. More intentional. More present, and now the hidden meaning behind their decision begins to appear. Your soulmate is not simply preparing to show you something through their actions. They have started understanding that words without consistency would never be enough. If they truly want you to recognize their intentions, they know they must approach you with sincerity, patience, and effort. Stay till the end, because the next revelation goes even deeper. Something inside them has shifted from "maybe someday" to "I need to know what is possible." That shift can change everything because it means the waiting phase may finally be reaching its end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. There is still one part of their decision they have not fully revealed, the specific reason they suddenly became so certain about you. And once that reason comes into focus, their next move will make far more sense. Because this was never only about missing someone or remembering the past. It was about recognizing a connection they no longer want to leave unanswered, and what they are preparing to do next could open a chapter neither of you expected to reach this soon. Now the reason behind your soulmate's sudden certainty is beginning to surface, and it is far more meaningful than they expected. At some point, they stopped focusing only on the moments you shared and started noticing how deeply your presence had influenced the way they imagined their future. That realization surprised them. You were no longer simply someone they remembered during quiet moments. You had become connected to questions about happiness, companionship, understanding, and the kind of connection they genuinely wanted to build. Don't skip, because this is where everything becomes clearer. They began comparing what they truly wanted with what they had been accepting, and one difference kept standing out: you made them feel something they could not easily recreate elsewhere. Not because everything between you was perfect, but because something about the connection felt meaningful enough to deserve an honest chance. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Their decision became stronger when they realized they did not want to keep wondering forever what might have happened if they had simply been brave enough to show you their true intentions. Then something even more surprising happened inside them. they stopped planning how to protect themselves from every possible outcome. For so long, hesitation had been their shield. They could remain quiet and avoid uncertainty, but remaining quiet also meant nothing could truly change. And now they understand that. Don't skip, because this shift matters. Your soulmate may be preparing to approach you with a level of openness you have not seen before. They want their next move to feel genuine rather than confusing. They want you to notice that this is not another temporary moment of emotion. It is a deliberate step toward clarity. They may begin by giving you more attention, asking something meaningful, creating an opportunity to speak privately, or simply showing through consistency that you matter. Whatever form it takes, the important part will be the intention behind it. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is one final thought pushing them forward, and it has become stronger every time they imagine remaining exactly where they are. If this connection truly matters, eventually someone has to stop wondering and start discovering. And this is where their next move becomes genuinely surprising. Your soulmate appears to be reaching a point where they would rather know the truth than continue living inside unanswered possibilities. They cannot predict exactly how you will respond, and they know meaningful connections cannot be forced. But that uncertainty is no longer enough to keep them frozen. Don't skip. What they want now is something simple but powerful, an opportunity to see what happens when both of you can finally interact without so much hidden hesitation. They want to understand whether the connection can grow naturally when honesty replaces guessing. Something huge is waiting for you because their decision has now crossed an important line. It is no longer only something they are thinking about. It is becoming something they want to demonstrate. And when that happens, you may notice the change before any major words are spoken. Their attention may become clearer. Their effort may become steadier. Their presence may feel more intentional. Stay till the end of this journey, because the next revelation is about the exact emotional realization that could finally push them from preparation into action, and once that happens, the silence between intention and movement may become much shorter than anyone expected. Here is the moment your soulmate could no longer ignore. They realized that thinking about you was no longer enough. For so long, they had been carrying this connection quietly, analyzing every possibility, remembering little details, and wondering whether they should wait longer. But eventually, one question became louder than everything else: how long can something meaningful remain unspoken before the opportunity begins to pass? Don't skip, because that question completely changed their perspective. They started understanding that their biggest regret might not come from trying and discovering the truth, it might come from never giving this connection a genuine chance at all. And suddenly, their next move became more important. They began imagining themselves finally speaking without hiding behind mixed signals or hesitation. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. There is one truth they have slowly accepted: you affected them differently than they expected. Your presence became memorable without demanding attention. Your connection remained meaningful even during quieter moments. And now they are realizing that whatever happens next, they want clarity instead of endless wondering. But the biggest surprise is what they may be preparing to change about themselves before approaching you. Your soulmate knows that simply appearing again with the same uncertain energy would accomplish nothing. If they take this step, they want you to feel the difference. They want their actions to carry the message before their words even explain it. More consistency. More attention. More willingness to listen. More courage to show what they previously kept hidden. Don't skip, because this is where their decision becomes something you could actually recognize. Their next move may begin subtly, but there could be a completely different intention underneath it. A conversation that lasts longer than expected. A question that suddenly becomes personal. A message that feels warmer. An effort to reconnect where silence once existed. Something huge is waiting for you, because underneath all of these possibilities is one powerful realization: they are no longer asking themselves whether you matter. They are asking themselves how to show you that you do. And that difference could change everything about what happens next. Now stay till the end, because the deepest part of their decision is finally coming into view. Your soulmate has begun imagining what a real future connection would require: not perfection, not dramatic promises, but honesty, patience, mutual effort, and the courage to discover what is actually possible between two people. That is why their next move could surprise you. It may not be about saying everything at once. It may be about opening one door and giving you the freedom to decide whether you want to walk through it too. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. There is still one revelation they have not completely faced. Once they approach you differently, they cannot pretend afterward that this connection meant nothing. Taking that step means finally admitting, at least to themselves, that you became important enough to change their behavior. And right now, that realization is pushing them closer to a choice they once kept postponing. Their next move could be the first visible sign that the waiting phase is ending, but what they are secretly hoping to discover from your response is even more surprising, because your reaction could determine exactly how far they are prepared to go next. The question your soulmate secretly wants answered is becoming impossible for them to ignore. If they finally step closer, will you recognize how serious their intention has become? This is what makes their next move so important. They are not simply hoping for attention, they are hoping for clarity. They want to discover whether the connection that has occupied their thoughts has space to grow in the real world. Don't skip, because their decision has reached a completely different level now. They have started understanding that one honest moment could reveal more than months of wondering ever could. And strangely, that realization is giving them courage. They know they cannot predict your feelings or decide your response for you, but they can finally control one thing: the honesty of their own actions. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The surprising revelation is that your soulmate may not be preparing one enormous gesture. Instead, they may be preparing a sequence of small but unmistakable changes that slowly show you what they have decided. More effort. More presence. More meaningful communication, and behind every one of those changes could be the same silent message: I don't want to leave this connection unexplored anymore. But there is another layer they did not expect. As they imagined approaching you, they began realizing that they would also have to leave behind the version of themselves that always waited for certainty before taking action. Don't skip, because this could explain why their behavior may suddenly feel different. Your soulmate has spent enough time searching for guarantees that simply do not exist in meaningful connections. Now they are learning that sometimes the only way to discover an answer is to create an honest opportunity for it to appear. Something huge is waiting for you. They may soon look for a natural opening where the two of you can communicate without pressure, without pretending, and without hiding everything behind ordinary words. And when that opening appears, they may reveal more than they originally planned. One truth could lead to another. One meaningful conversation could uncover feelings that were previously buried beneath hesitation. Stay till the end, because what happens after that first opening is the part they have been imagining repeatedly, and it could change the entire rhythm of this connection. And now their decision reaches its most powerful point yet. Your soulmate appears to understand that the next chapter cannot be created by one person alone. They can take a step toward you, but they also want to see what naturally comes back from your side. That is why they are watching for something deeper than a perfect response. They are looking for openness, comfort, curiosity, and the feeling that the door between you is not completely closed. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you, because if they sense that openness, their next move may become much clearer and more confident than the first. What begins as a simple conversation could become an honest admission. What begins as renewed attention could become consistent effort. And what once existed only as unanswered possibility could finally be given a chance to become something real. Stay till the end of this journey, because your soulmate still has one final decision inside this larger decision, a choice about how much of their true feelings they are finally willing to reveal. And when that choice is made, you may discover that their next move was never simply about reaching out. It was about finally showing you what they had been too uncertain to express before. Everything your soulmate has been holding inside is now approaching one defining moment, because they have realized that revealing only half of the truth could leave both of you exactly where you started. They do not want another conversation filled with hidden meanings and unanswered questions. This time, they want something to become clear. Don't skip, because the revelation behind their decision is bigger than simply admitting they care about you. They have been asking themselves what they genuinely want from this connection, and the answer has surprised even them. They do not want to remain a distant possibility in your life. They want the opportunity to become someone whose presence actually matters in your everyday world. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate may finally be preparing to let their actions reveal what their silence concealed. The hesitation that once made them pull back is becoming weaker, while the desire to understand this connection is becoming stronger. And there is one particular realization driving this transformation: if they continue waiting for everything to feel perfectly certain, they could wait forever. So instead of waiting for certainty, they are preparing to create clarity. What happens next could surprise you because your soulmate is beginning to think beyond the first move. Don't skip. They are already wondering what they would do if you respond with warmth, curiosity, or genuine openness. They have imagined the conversation continuing. They have imagined finally telling you things they once kept completely private. They have even considered how different everything could feel if both of you stopped trying to guess what the other person meant. Something huge is waiting for you, because their decision is becoming less about one emotional moment and more about consistent effort. They know one message cannot prove everything. One conversation cannot build everything. If this connection is going to mean something, they understand that their behavior afterward will matter even more than the first step. That is why they may begin showing up differently, remembering small details, communicating with greater intention, listening more carefully, and making it easier for you to understand where they stand. Stay till the end, because beneath all of this preparation is an even bigger truth. Your soulmate wants to know whether the connection can become mutual, steady, and real rather than remaining something beautiful only inside their imagination. And now comes the realization that could push them closer than ever to actually making their move. Your soulmate has understood that they do not need to know the entire future before beginning one honest conversation. They only need enough courage to stop hiding from the present. Don't skip, because this changes everything. Instead of preparing some perfect speech, they may decide that sincerity matters more than perfection. Instead of waiting for an extraordinary moment, they may use an ordinary moment.